lights are done. Cabinet lights, coffee lights around the perimeter. We are looking at 22 watts, but the AC is done. Obviously, you're seeing the outside. Well, welcome back to the channel. And I know a lot of you have been waiting for this series, turning my cargo trailer into a camper. Let's get this going. Now there's gonna be multiple parts to this series, not exactly sure how many. At least in part one here, I'm gonna go over the why, my reasoning, the exterior of my cargo trailer before I turned it into a camper. And I'm gonna go over everything. I got detailed pictures on everything, you name it, right down to the plumbing, the electrical, the liner, the ceiling, the lift up bed, you name it. Just make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Hit that notification all bell so when those other parts of the series come out, you are aware. Now, a good question you might be asking yourself, why a cargo trailer camper conversion? Well, at least for us, when we purchased this, it was during the height of COVID. You simply could not get a camper. And if you could, they cost an arm and a leg. A camper that used to cost pre-COVID roughly about $14,000 was easily pushing $20,000 plus. And to be honest with you, even at $20,000 plus, they were just built terribly. I mean, the interior walls were wobbly, the exterior was full of screws, and we simply just didn't want that. And we wanted a cargo camper conversion we want it completely screwless, no holes in the exterior, and that's including windows and doors, other than obviously the doors and the cargo trailer itself on the side and the back. But we want something that's gonna last a long time. And these cargo trailers are built like tanks, at least especially this Stealth one that has a screwless exterior. I expect this to last a long time. And we wanted something that was ours, something we designed ourselves, something that we could not only call home, but hey, say that we did that. And really everything revolved around the bed. When we go camping, we're not in the camper, we're outside the camper. And we wanted to design this so everything revolved. When we were ready to go to bed, we had a nice, comfortable, full size, damn near 1 foot thick mattress, queen size for me and my other half. And we wanted to design the kitchen so we could make some of those cubbies removable, take them outside. We're cooking outside. Unless it's raining, then yeah, we might be inside. But everything revolves the bed and being outside in nature. Now, we were totally fine with the Stealth 6x12. And I had one stipulation when buying this. I had to have tandem axles with electric brakes. Number one, tandem axle, and I've pulled this numerous times, it pulls like a dream. It doesn't sway, it just pulls nice and straight. Also, the electric brakes, it's gonna save on your vehicle's brakes and also the transmission. Now, the tandem axle electric brakes comes at a cost. You know, if you got this as a single axle with no electric brakes, at least during COVID times, it probably would have been roughly $6,000. We got this for $8,000, which the big takeaways here is the tandem axle electric brakes with a screwless exterior. You know, you can even get these with aluminum frame. This has a steel frame. If you want to pay a little bit extra for that aluminum frame, it weighs less. You obviously don't have to worry about it rusting. So it's April 2023, snow's starting to melt, and we paid for this 6x12 Stealth tandem axle electric brakes roughly about 1.5 years ago. It was a little over $8,000 with tax and fees right out the door. That price has come down a little bit, but not much. You're still gonna pay a premium just for the tandem axle and trailer brakes, so keep that in mind. But I highly recommend getting the tandem axle electric brakes. Trust me, it's worth it. Now, making that cargo trailer purchase, we got a 6x12. It's 6 feet wide. Roughly, the walls are about 1.5 inches thick on each side. 6 feet times 12 inches is 72 inches. Mine is 3 inches. So you're roughly looking 69 inches of clearance on the inside. And if you want a full-size, queen-size bed like we got, you're never going to be able to run it left to right. It's going to have to go front to back. So keep that in mind. If you do want your bed to go left to right, not front to back, you're going to have to consider something more like a 7-foot wide trailer. But if you do go 7 foot wide, the sides are most likely going to stick past your vehicle. It's going to be extra wind resistance, extra gas, extra money. So if you are considering something like this with electric brakes, just make sure you have the means to hook it up to your vehicle. Make sure it has that plug-in for the electric brakes, obviously, so it works. Might sound pretty simple to some, but some people, they're not familiar with this. So that's definitely something to keep in the back of your mind. Now, this particular 6x12 from Stealth empty is pushing 1,900 pounds. Now, once we got it completely finished off, and once we had it loaded up with everything, our camping gear, wood, camping stove, blah, 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 our clothes, you name it, we took it to the cat scales at Quick Trip. You can pay them $13 to put it on the cat scales and weigh it. And with this particular setup, and you're about to see the interior, it weighed in at 3,800 pounds. Now, with my other half's Toyota 4Runner that has a 6-cylinder, it has a 5,000 pound pull limit on it. And it was really pushing it at 3,800 pounds. It could definitely do it, but when going down the interstate, especially going up hills, it was pushing the RPMs to the point where I didn't feel comfortable about it. I definitely wouldn't take it any more than a 2-hour trip. But now we have a Ford F-150 that could pull well over 10,000 pounds. I'm not worried about it, but it's definitely something to keep in the back of mind before you make that purchase and make that conversion. Now, there's two things I definitely underestimated when I did this cargo camper conversion. One was a little bit of the money. Yes, you start adding up all those things and it adds up really quick. The flooring, the wall framing, the liner, the ceiling liner, the bed frame, the mattress, the kitchen cabinet, countertop, sink, the faucet itself, all the plumbing, the electrical wiring, the hookups, windows, you name it, the screen door. It adds up really quick. And I would say I have roughly about $3,000 into this above and beyond the $8,000 it took to get this 6x12 Stealth out the door. And I was mostly expecting that, and I was happy with $11,000. But the one thing I definitely underestimated was time, the amount of time it took to do all of this. And if you're not willing to put in the time, and when I say a lot of time, every available minute outside my full-time job and my business and not spent with my other half was spent on this cargo trailer conversion. Literally every minute, all last summer, I would say 4 months straight, every available weekend after work, it took that much time, especially if you're an anal bastard like myself and want to put in the time and do it correctly. But don't underestimate that time. Now, one of the first things I did with this cargo trailer was rubberize the underneath, especially being that this has a steel frame and not an aluminum frame. I want to make sure all that steel frame, which was already painted, but I want to make sure it was rubberized. And also the exposed subfloor, which was completely exposed. It wasn't painted, it wasn't rubberized. I wanted to make sure completely, let me flip this, that not only the frame was rubberized, but the plywood underneath. And I'll splice in some pictures here of this frame to give you a better idea of what I did. And I think that's super crucial that you do that, especially if it has a steel frame and not aluminum. Regardless, if it has an aluminum frame, if that plywood is exposed, I would make sure that that plywood is rubberized, and it's well worth the time and cost to get that done if you want this to last. And I'll splice in some pictures of what I used. And off the top of my memory, I'll splice in those pictures. I want to say I took roughly 8 cans of rubberized spray liner that I got from Menards, and it was pretty brutal. You definitely need to wear a mask, get some eye goggles. When I say you're underneath this trailer bed and you're spraying that, you are going to get covered in that rubber. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you definitely don't want to inhale. So make sure you have something to cover your eyes and also a ventilator. Now we're on the exterior here. Definitely get tire covers. You want to make sure your tires are protected, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere with the snow. Check out the description box below. I have a link for the particular tire covers that I got. They seem to work pretty good and they're waterproof. I just use a bungee cord around the bottom to make sure that these don't blow off. Make sure you get some blocking here for your tires so it doesn't roll forwards and back, especially if you're on an incline at your camp resort. And I'll have a link in the description box below for all these products to make it easy for you. And just click in that description box and those links will be in there. And it'll take you right to Amazon. I also got a 2x10 10-foot grain treated. Make sure it's green so it doesn't rot out on you. And I cut 1 foot out of the 10 feet for the front block. What was left is obviously 9 feet. I cut that in half for 2 boards that were roughly 4 feet 6 inches for both sides. And obviously make sure it's long enough. 4 foot 6 inches was just good enough for a tandem axle trailer. So just a couple things. We went with barn style doors and not a ramp style door. That's just a personal preference that we wanted. That's just something you're gonna have to decide on. I just wanted something when I was done camping. I want to store this away, especially during the winter. This thing is impenetrable, damn near, and watertight. I don't have to worry about the siding or windows leaking. It is watertight, but especially during the winter, I wanted something that's going to last a lifetime. That's why I went with the barn style doors and not a ramp style door. But with that being said, when I open these up, I make sure I lock this back down so some smart aleck kid at night while we're sleeping doesn't lock us into the cargo trailer. That obviously be really bad. I'll go over this in a little bit. But at least on the front side or side door, what I did is I got some D-style rings here. I made sure they were stainless steel, not zinc plated, especially not just bare steel. I made sure they were stainless steel so they don't rust and bleed. And I just caulked this, put an adequate amount of silicone underneath this and screwed this home with some self-tapping stainless steel screws. And I attached a D-ring here. You can see I just used roughly a 2 to 3 foot bungee cord to hold this door back. It's not going anywhere. So other words of advice, you can see I locked this back down on the side door so some smart aleck kid doesn't lock us in. But make sure that your cargo trailer has a camper style latch. Definitely it's not going to be something you want to add after the fact. Just get it right out of the gate with a camper style latch, or try and find one that has this. Trust me, you're going to want this. When you go to bed at night, you want to make sure you can shut this really easy and open it from the inside. Getting back to these rear barn doors, once again, I just added these stainless steel type D-rings here. And I just got a 1 foot chunk of bungee cord here. And then to hold back these doors, obviously can't do this right now because these tires are covered with tire covers. But the rims obviously have holes all over them. We just clip them right on one of the holes of the rim. And it works out really good on holding back these rear barn doors. Now, not to worry, I'm going to go over waterproofing these barn doors, and trust me when I say this, these doors have taken numerous torrential downpours. They are watertight, and I got the video to prove it. The rubber roofing on the doors is holding up really, really good. We got just a massive downpour here. I'm going to go over the exterior, the rear wall, the screen door that I made, and obviously the glorious interior. And trust me, it is beautiful. All handcrafted. It took me an entire summer to do this. But just to make sure that this video is not ultra long, I'm going to have to save that for part 2. The side door, the screen door, and the rear doors and the rear wall in part 2. And part 3 and the other parts after that will be on the interior, and trust me, it is beautiful. Well, I'll see you guys in the next part. Hopefully you're learning something on this adventure with me. And if you feel like you got something out of this, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. When you do subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification to get notification all. So when these other parts of the video come out, you are aware. I'll see you in the next video.